Hunters keep disappearing in Oregon's Crater Lake. They are not from this world. They found my hunting partner's rifle 3 miles from where he vanished, fully loaded, safety off. He never got a shot. This was October 2023. I was at Crater Lake National Park in southern Oregon with my buddy Marcus. We'd been planning this elk hunt for 8 months, got our permits, studied the migration patterns, did everything right. We were staying at a Forest Service cabin about 4 miles from the rim, just the two of us. Cell service was non-existent out there, but we had radios, GPS, the works. Everything started completely normal. It was early season, mid-October, and the aspens were turning gold against the evergreens. Weather was clear, cold at night, maybe low 30s, but perfect hunting conditions during the day. We'd been out there 2 days already, seen some does, heard bugles in the distance, standard stuff. The reason we'd chosen that specific area was because locals said the big bulls moved through a corridor between the lake and the pumice desert this time of year. Old-timers swore by it. Day 3 is when things started feeling off. We split up that morning like we always did. Marcus went east toward Annie Creek. I took the ridgeline west. We'd radio check every hour. Around mid-morning, I'm glassing a meadow when I noticed something. The forest had gone completely silent. No birds, no squirrels, not even wind through the pines. At first, I figured it was just a predator nearby. Mountain lion, maybe a bear. Happens sometimes. Animals go quiet when something big moves through. I told myself that's all it was, but the silence lasted 20 minutes, and when sound came back, it came back wrong. That's when I started noticing the pattern. Every time I'd move to a new position, within 5 minutes, I'd hear this sound. Not an animal call, not wind. It was like a low-frequency hum, almost subsonic. You felt it more than heard it. Same duration, same tonal quality, and it always seemed to come from behind me, no matter which direction I faced. The air started feeling different too, heavier, like before a thunderstorm, but the sky was clear. There was a smell, faint at first, metallic, like ozone or old pennies, and underneath everything was that wrong silence between the hums. I radioed Marcus for our hourly check-in. "You hearing anything weird out there?" Static. Then his voice distorted. "Like what?" "Never mind." "You good?" "Yeah. Saw some tracks. Gonna follow them north." "Copy. Check in next hour." Next hour came and went. No radio check. I tried raising him. Nothing but static. I told myself his radio battery died. Told myself he was in a dead zone. Told myself he was tracking an elk and had his radio off to stay quiet. I even laughed, actually said out loud, "You're being paranoid, man." But my hands wouldn't stop shaking when I pulled out my GPS. My body knew something was wrong before my brain would admit it. That primal part of you that's kept humans alive for millennia, it was screaming at me to leave. I headed toward Marcus's last known position. Took me 45 minutes of hard hiking. I found his tracks easy enough, boot prints in the soft volcanic soil, following them north like he said. Then they just stopped. Middle of a clearing. No struggle, no drag marks, no blood. Just his tracks ending, like he'd been plucked off the earth. That's when I saw it. About 30 yards away at the tree line. Not clearly, the light was wrong, shadows too deep. But there was a shape. Tall. Too tall. And it wasn't moving like anything I'd ever seen. It swayed, back and forth, but there was no wind. I raised my rifle, looked through the scope. What I saw through that scope made me lower my gun, because you don't shoot at something when you don't understand what you're even looking at. I backed away, slowly. Didn't turn around, kept my eyes on the tree line. The humming started again, louder this time. My compass started spinning, actually spinning. The needle couldn't find north. My watch stopped, just froze. The smell got stronger, metallic, electric. Something moved in my peripheral vision, left side. I turned. Nothing there. But when I looked back at the tree line, it was closer. 30 yards became 20. I didn't see it move. It was just closer. I ran. I'm not proud of it, but I ran. Got maybe 100 yards when I felt it. That presence right behind me. I could feel the air displacement. Something large, moving without sound. I spun around. It was there. 10 feet away. Standing between two pines. I can't describe it properly because my brain wouldn't process what I was seeing. Like when you look at one of those optical illusions and your eyes can't make sense of the geometry. It was tall, maybe 8-9 feet, but the proportions were wrong. Too thin, limbs too long, and the way it held itself, perfectly still but somehow vibrating, like it existed slightly out of phase with everything around it. No face I could make out. Just darkness where a face should be. But I knew it was looking at me. I could feel it looking. My rifle was in my hands, but I couldn't raise it. Couldn't move at all. We stayed like that for what felt like hours, but was probably 15 seconds. Then it tilted its head. Slow, deliberate, curious. And I heard a voice, not out loud, in my head. One word. Leave. Not threatening, just matter of fact, like an instruction. My legs worked again. I ran back to the cabin, grabbed my gear, left Marcus's stuff, drove straight to the ranger station, reported him missing. They sent a search team, found his rifle 3 days later, 3 miles northeast of where his tracks ended, fully loaded, safety off, finger grooves still visible in the dust on the stock. Like he just set it down. They never found Marcus. Search went on for 2 weeks. Helicopters, dogs, thermal imaging. Nothing. He was just gone. Officially, he's listed as missing, presumed dead due to exposure or animal attack. But I know that's not what happened. I moved to Idaho 2 months later. Haven't back to Oregon. But last week I got a call from an unknown number. Didn't recognize the voice. Guy said he was a hunter, said he'd heard about what happened to Marcus, said 3 other hunters have vanished near Crater Lake in the last 18 months. All of them experienced the same things I did. The silence, the humming, the smell. He asked if I'd be willing to talk to someone who investigates this kind of thing. I told him no, hung up. But 2 nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night. My watch had stopped. And I could smell it. That metallic smell. In my bedroom. I don't know what's happening, but whatever I saw in those woods, I don't think it stayed there. Have you ever been in the woods and felt like the forest was watching you? Like really watching? Drop a comment if you've experienced something in the wilderness you can't explain, especially near Crater Lake. Because I need to know if I'm the only one who brought something back. Marcus called me last night, from his old number, the one that's been disconnected for 4 months. He didn't say anything, just that hum, and then in a voice that sounded like his but wrong, "It's beautiful here." The line went dead. If you're planning a trip to Crater Lake, maybe go somewhere else. And if you wake up and your watch has stopped, don't go back to sleep. They're already inside.